Good morning, students. Today we are going to discuss our second poem, Indian Weavers by Sarojini Naidu. Students, before I explain you the poem, let's know something about art and culture, craftsmanship of our country. As you all know, we are famous. That is, India is famous for the handicraft, for various artworks throughout the world. Everyone knows the finery, the skillfulness of our craftsmen globally. We are very famous. So different kind of handicrafts, different kind of furniture work or painting work or poetry. So we are famous for very everything, right? So just taking one section out of those craftsmanship weavers, so Roshni Naidu has written this beautiful poem, which is very short but beautiful poem. It is, we can say, having some kind of specification in that related to the weavers. So let's begin. If we see who is a weaver, before understanding the poem, we should know the term weaver. Weaver means a person who weaves a cloth, who makes a garment, who join the threads with each other. That is called as weaving, and the person who does this weaving work is called as a weaver, right? So our poem is Indian Weavers. Before I proceed towards the poem, let's know about the writer, the poetess Sarojini Naidu. She was born in Hyderabad in 1879 and she died in Lucknow in 1949. Sarojini Naidu she was a political activist, a feminist, and she became the first woman to be the president of Indian National Congress, and she participated in the freedom struggle along with Gandhiji, Nehruji, and also wrote some patriotic songs, patriotic poetries also, and she is famous as Nightingale of India for her poetic works. She has written poems for kids also on the theme of freedom, patriotism both. She was the first woman governor in independent India for Indian province, like the all UP area. She was the governor of that area. If we talk about Indian weavers, it is a short but a significant and a beautiful poem composed by her in her very first section of her publications. In Indian Weaver, she has presented three different aspects of human life with the help of three different stages of weaving by the weavers. So let's see. The first stanza. If we see, the poem is divided into three stanzas of 4 lines each. And stanza wise, we will go. First stanza, second stanza, and third stanza, they are written on the basis of stages. In the first stanza, she has presented about the very first stage. In the second stanza, she has depicted about the second stage of human life. And in the third stanza, which is the final one, she has presented the last stage of human life. In this poem, we will see that how she has compared different times of day with the different stage of human life, with the different type of garment, different moods of the weaver. So all are interconnected. The whole poem is metaphorically presented to us. So let's begin. Stanza 1. Weavers weaving at break of day, why do you weave a garment so gay? Blue as the wing of a halcyon wild, we weave the robes of a newborn child. Just have a look on the structure of the poem. The poem is in the form of question answer format. That is, the poetess While seeing the weavers, she is asking them and they are replying her query, right? So here she says weavers weaving at break of day, early morning. So when she sees that weavers are weaving something at the early morning time, at the time of the day when maximum of people are sleeping, so why are they weaving a cloth at this early morning time? Why do you weave a garment so gay? And that too, that cloth is so much beautiful. Gay is beautiful. Why are you weaving such a beautiful, such a soft material, such a soft cloth at this time of early morning? What is the need of that? Which is blue as the wing of a halcyon wild, and the cloth is such a beautiful that it is compared with the wings of the kingfisher bird. If you have seen kingfisher, it's a very beautiful bird having bright blue color and wings are soft. So she is comparing the material of the cloth with the wings, with the feather of the kingfisher bird, which are blue in color and it is very soft. It means that particular soft material of blue color, which is absolutely soft, it must be of some significance. So she is asking, why are you using this so much beautiful soft blue colored cloth? Why are you weaving this garment? Why are you weaving this dress? Then the weavers reply, we weave the robes of a newborn child. That is, in the neighborhood, a newborn child has born, so we are making a beautiful dress for that newborn child. So now we can see why she has used the color blue as the wing of a halcyon wild, because a newborn child is very soft, a delicate one. So a newborn child always needs some soft cloth, softness in the material. So she has used the material, the weavers have used the material which is soft, and the poetess has compared it with the softness of the wings of a kingfisher bird. So in the first stanza, she has presented the very first stage of human life, that is the birth. And to present that, she has taken the very first time of the day, that is the early morning period. And here she has presented weavers with a joyful faces, that is they are weaving the cloth smilingly, they are weaving the dress in a joyful manner. So in the first stanza she has presented first time of the day, weavers in the happy mood, first stage of the human life. Now we move to the second one. In second stanza, weavers weaving at fall of night, why do you weave a garment so bright? Like the plumes of a peacock, purple and green, we weave the marriage veils of a queen. In the second stanza, when she sees weavers are weaving something in the evening, fall of night here, the time of sunsetting or time of evening. So she asked them, why are you weaving such a bright colored cloth at this evening time? What is the need of that? And like the garment, the cloth is like the plumes of a peacock, purple and green. You all have seen the feather of a peacock. They are of purple and green color. The bright purple green colors are there, which look so much beautiful. So she is asking, why are you making a dress which is just purple and green in color, same as the colors of the feathers of peacock? Why so much bright dress you are weaving at this time? Then what do they reply? We weave the marriage veils of a queen. Marriage veil means a dress which is used to cover the face of the queen or a bride. We all know in our country a bride has to cover her face, so they are making that face cover for the queen, or we can say for the bride. Now here poetess has presented the second stage of the day, that is the evening, and then evening she has used for presenting the marriage time. Generally, marriages are happening in the time of evening. So she has chosen that time, and that time she has also used bright color because bride always wears bright color in her wedding. So she has used bright colors purple and green. And in this stanza, if we see, she has taken two colors, combination of two, purple and green, which means she is presenting that this is the stage of human life where we have to face mixture of our experiences. That is the stage of youth, the stage where we do hard work, where we see ups and downs also, where we fall in love, we face breakups, where we fall in love, we get married, we have so many responsibilities also, we have happiness, we have sorrow. So the stage of mixed experiences, for that reason she has used combination of two colors, purple and green. In the first stanza, blue color presented joy, happiness. Here in the second stanza, purple and green are presenting two different kinds of feelings, right? So the stage, the youth is the young age or the youth is the stage where we experience everything. We have so many responsibilities with us, we enjoy, we face drawbacks, downfalls also, we do mistakes also, we rectify them. So everything we have to face in this stage. So she has used combination of two colors, and weavers are replying that we are weaving marriage veils. So this is the stage where we grow up, we get a job, we get married, and we face all the experiences of our life. Now we move to the final stanza. Weavers weaving solemn and still, what do you weave in the morning moonlight chill? White as a feather and white as a cloud, we weave a dead man's funeral shroud. And now if you see in the third stanza, weavers weaving solemn and still, what do you weave in the moonlight chill? In the two stanzas, she was asking why, because she was also feeling happy to see the color of the clothes, right? But in the third stanza, the question is what? That is, she is surprised to see that what are they weaving? They are sitting solemn and still, calm. Solemn means silent, sad. So they are sitting sad, they are sitting still, they are not speaking anything, their faces are sad, and that too they are weaving something at the late night. Moonlight chill means a wintry late night. What is the need that they are sitting at this late time of the day? They are weaving something late night, and that too the night is so chilly, it is winter night, they should have slept. Then what is so emergency that they are weaving a cloth at this time? Why are they not sleeping? And that too they are looking very sad. And moreover, they are weaving a cloth which is white as a feather and white as a cloud. So they are weaving a very dull cloth which has no color, no charm. No one is feeling happy to see that cloth. What are they weaving with that color at this late time? So what do they reply? We weave a dead man's funeral shroud. So sadly they are saying a man is dead nearby. We are making a cloth to cover his dead body. So obviously they are sad because they are weaving a cloth for somebody who is dead. So their tone is silent. So in this third stage, poetess is presenting the third stage of human life, that is old age or death. And weavers are sitting silent because somebody is dead. That is, this is the stage where we face problems, diseases, various difficulties. She has taken the late stage of the night to present that the day revolves morning, evening, night. Cycle is going on for the day. So she has taken all the three things in third stanza. First, she said they are silent. Second, she is saying that it is the chilly moonlight night, that is late night they are weaving the cloth. Third, she is presenting a dull period of her life, that is the old age or the death. So with this, explanation of the poem is over. That is, the poem is divided into three stanzas of 4 lines each, presenting the different stages of human life. If we see the theme of the poem is birth, youth, death, right? And now, why has she chosen weavers to present three stages of life? She wants to convey that, like weavers make cloths or weave cloths for different occasions at different times of the day with different moods, so as the human life is also woven by the destiny or by the fate at different times of the age of human life. For birth, we are made differently. For youth, our body develops differently. During death or during old age, our body develops differently, and all is done by our destiny or by fate or by God. So theme is birth, youth, death. Now if you see the rhyming scheme A A B B, first line rhymes with the second, third line rhymes with the fourth. So in the first stanza, we will write AABB, second stanza CCDD, and third stanza EEFF, because they are not rhyming with the first stanza. But the rhyming scheme, if we see, it is AABB. The different rhyming pairs are day, gay, wild child, night, bright, green, queen, still, chill, cloud, shroud. So this is a very simple, this is absolutely she has used a simple language to explain the poem. After reading, anyone can understand what is the theme of the poem and how it is written. Otherwise also, Sarojini Naidu used to write poetry in a very simple language which is easily understood by a common reader, right? Now, what are the key points in the poem used? If we sum up the poem, Indian Weavers by Sarojini Naidu, it sums up the life of human beings on earth in three main stages. As I explained to you, she has presented three stages of human life by using the symbols of clothes and three times of the day. Here she has used three different clothes: a blue bright color cloth which is very soft, then combination of green and purple which is combination of joyful and sorrows, and the third is white cloth which is the symbol of silence. So she has basically used the symbolism in the whole poem. She has used metaphor in the whole poem. We will say the journey of human life begins with one color, blue color, which is joy and happiness, because a child never have any kind of worries, no tensions, life is full of enjoyment. Then we grow up. Second stage comes when it continues with the addition of a number of colors such as green and purple, which means along with happiness, along with joy, we have to face sorrows also. We have to face responsibilities also. They also comes to our life, and then this is the stage when our life is quite active than our first stage, because here we have to perform a number of duties, number of responsibilities lie on our shoulders, so we have to be active. So this is the stage where we become active. So she presented second stage, and in the final stage she has presented a colorless life. Color vanishes away and only a single color remains, which is white. That is, now emotions are connected with our life, and here this is the stage when a person remains emotional, he wants some contacts, he wants some attachment, some care, and at final stage the person dies and emotions also die. So in the third stage, she has presented the stage of life where sadness is there, where calmness is there, silence is there, and it is the stage of full depression, we can say, full like full of diseases, full of problems. So here she has presented the stage which finally ends into death. So if we see, the poem Indian Weavers presents three stages of human life. First stage full of happiness, that is a birth, the child age. Second stage full of happiness and sorrows, full of responsibilities, youth. And the third stage, which is full of emotions, sadness and problems, that is a final stage, which is our old age or death. So with this, the poem is over, and now you all will mark the figures of speech in the poem in your textbook, and after that we'll be discussing about the critical appreciation and the figures of speech during our live session. So by the time, just open your textbooks and mark the figures of speech which are applicable over there. And if you see, basic figures of speech in the poem are symbolism, imagery, simile, and metaphor at some places. So now you have to find out these figures of speech in the poem, and then we'll be having a discussion over that. Till then, goodbye, stay safe.